You made it. We made it. I don't quite know how we made it to the end of the semester this fast, or how we've somehow survived this online format. But here you are at the end. You should be proud of yourselves and everything you've accomplished. This video is going to show a few brief instructions for the discussion and final paper, in the hopes that you will all be very successful, confident. It shouldn't be that much more work than every other assignment this semester. It's just that you're going to combine them all together. So what are the new sections on assignment number 7? These are the instructions that are posted up on Learning Suite. So use the feedback you received on your introduction methods. If you received feedback, incorporate it. If you didn't, then you don't need to incorporate the feedback you didn't receive, obviously. Add this to a title page and an abstract. I'll show you how this all is supposed to look. There are examples up on Learning Suite. There's a discussion, references, appendix for the stats table. We actually have 2 stats tables in ours. I changed that a little bit. Specifically, your final paper should adhere to the following organization. I'll show you that. Here's a discussion. In the first paragraph, write a few sentences summarizing the purpose of your study and the results of your study. In the second paragraph, write how your findings tie into or build upon the literature that you discussed in the introduction. Did your results support or not support previous research? Why or why not? Cite at least 2 of your studies in this paragraph. So grab what you did in the literature review at the beginning in the introduction, and then tie it back into the final. It's kind of like a literature review at the beginning is like, this is what everybody has said, and a discussion section is like a literature review at the end, which says, and now that my study's actually been done, here's how my study makes sense based on previous literature, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And then you have a limitations and future directions. It's like, what are some of the limitations? Think through all the topics we've covered. Did you have measurement error? What method did you use? Are there reliability and validity problems? Did you have sampling bias? Hint, you probably did. And then designs, we didn't really talk about. Experimental design, well, we did talk about experimental designs, but none of you used that. So talk about the limitations of the correlational design that you used. Yeah, read over that paragraph a little more carefully if you don't quite know how to write what you need. And then finally describe how a future study could build upon and improve what you have done. And then write a few sentences that briefly summarize the main thrust of your findings and why they matter. So that's the discussion section. Okay. Then we have the title page. I just want to check my time. How are we doing? Sorry. This title is a separate page. Then you have an abstract. And then at the end you have your references. You will not include the annotations to these. Summary of requirements. It will probably be around there. Remember, 12 times New Roman, double spaced everything. Do not include your survey. You included that with the methods. Then you have a title page, an abstract, a body, which has all this stuff, which has incorporated your feedback. Use the headings, and then write all sections in paragraph form. Use APA throughout. And then on Learning Suite, there are example papers posted. There's one example paper that there are 2 example papers, one that just has the format and one that has some of Dr. Rogers' comments on it. So if you want to use those, you can. So I'm going to show you around a little bit what this paper is supposed to look like. There's actually an error on here. This needs to be Times New Roman 12-point font. And this heading is different than this heading. So you have to update both of them if they're not Times New Roman. Way to create this heading If it was blank, you need to click different first page up here on the header footer options, and then you start with page number, top of page, put it over there, and then you say running head, and then your capital, it's a capitalized version of your title. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. It could be a shorter one if you needed it to be. And then put it all the way on the left. Make sure it's Times New Roman 12-point font. Okay. Front page just has the title, your name, SFL 290 section 1, I think, and then your student number. On the second page, again, you're going to have a heading. It's going to be different, and you just click that box for different first page up there. An abstract, the instructions say about 100 words, and it just summarizes your paper. Then we've got an introduction here, which is bolded, and you need to make sure you follow the format for all of these headings. They need to be just like this because that is APA format. So then we go into the purpose of this study, and here's our introduction and our literature review. It comes here and talks a little bit about it. I would recommend reading through these to get an example. Okay, center bolded, methods, then sample. I had 40 people. There were 36 females and 4 males. They were all white in college and had at least one sibling. You don't have to say any of that information if you didn't collect it, but anything you have about their demographics, include it here. Procedure. Read through this, and I created an online sample. I sent out a link through Learning Suite or through my Facebook or Instagram. Make sure you say which Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, whichever one you used. Then measures, independent variables, dependent variables. If you want to separate them out into independent variables and controls, that's a good idea. Use these exact format. Control variables, analytic strategy. Yours is probably going to be similar to this. If you have a problem writing this, we can talk more about it on Monday. Results, here's your descriptive statistics that you wrote on Wednesday. Multiple regression results. You don't have to do this just for fun hypotheses, remember. So just cut that out. And here's the discussion that you need to write. This is the new section for this week. Here's that, like, here was the purpose of my study. Here's what I found. Here's the problem with my paper. Here's another problem with my paper. And somewhere in here, you should also talk about, like, I would do a study again that would be slightly different because, and then here's a conclusion. Here's the references. Then here's one paper. It looks slightly different. Just use the same paper. Just use the same table that we used that I used in my examples on YouTube. And then again, this example only has one table, but we have the two tables that you included in your results sections. And that should be it. What is happening here? Okay. Sorry, some weird things happening with, like, the timing and what's all going on, but yeah, that was a quick overview of mostly the format. The content is here. If you don't know what to say, I would recommend writing as much of this as you can before Monday. As soon as you get this done, you're welcome to turn it in. If you finish it before Monday, like, the earlier, I'll start grading them as soon as they start coming in. So the earlier you turn it in, the more likely it will be that I will have it graded early. And I just want to say what a privilege it's been to teach you all and to be a part of your education. I hope you have learned a lot and you've grown and you're less scared of research and you're less scared of math and statistics. And above all, I hope you feel more competent about your critical thinking and a better social scientist after this class. And if not, then at least you are done with it, and you can graduate now. So cool, I guess, if that's all that you want from this class. But it's been a privilege for us, and I know I speak for our whole team, me, Stephanie, and Rachel, when I say that. Thank you.